Hello, you all, and welcome. Emma Churchman here, and I wanted to pop on to make a special announcement that I'm very excited to share with my community. So if you're watching this, you may know me as someone who helps entrepreneurs grow their businesses, as a leadership consultant for companies, as a trauma chaplain who lived through Hurricane Helene, and as a trauma survivor who experienced all kinds of trauma in childhood. A lot of you know that I recently published a book called The Deep End of Hope in the Wake of Hurricane Helene, 40 Days and Nights of Survival and Transformation, that was released on February 1st, 2025 by my publisher, Grace Point Publishing. That book came out of just an apocalyptic experience here in Western North Carolina when Hurricane Helene hit on September 27th and devastated our community. And I ended up volunteering as a trauma chaplain, really devoting my time to helping our small rural Appalachian community of 300 people figure out how to navigate what really was a life-changing situation for all of us. And then I ended up writing a book about what happened during the first 40 days, really to give some education to people who were not part of living through Hurricane Helene, because what we were seeing in the media was radically different than what was actually happening here, boots on the ground. And in fact, a year later, we still have closed roads, we still have bridges that need to be rebuilt. We still don't have trash service. We only have basic mail. We can't get packages. We don't have a postal worker in our post office. So there are lots of things that are still in process here. And I really wanted to give some attention to that through this book, The Deep End of Hope, which is also a fundraiser for Mennonite Disaster Service. So lots of you have heard me talk about that book over this almost past year. What's really exciting, though, is that when my publisher acquired that first book, The Deep End of Hope in the Wake of Hurricane Helene, they also acquired a second book by me, which is a memoir called Unshattered. And the subtitle of that is Surviving My Mother's 123 Personalities and Transforming a Legacy of Abuse. So it talks about being raised by a mother with multiple personality disorder, and then the journey of my father dying by suicide and all three of my brothers dying by suicide, and how I overcame that, how I became this version of myself who teaches trauma recovery to other people. And in the book Unshattered, as well as in The Deep End of Hope in the Wake of Hurricane Helene, I talk about my 4-phase trauma recovery methodology. The 4 phases are rescue, recovery, reconstruction, and evolution, because I believe that we can all heal from trauma in real time. I believe that we've run out of time to spend a decade hanging out on a therapist's couch feeling our feelings. We've got to figure out how to process this stuff in real time, in the immediate presence, because there are some staggering statistics out there. For example, by the age of 60, 75% of people will have experienced trauma. Another staggering statistic, natural disasters over the past decade alone have increased by 300%. 300%. And if you imagine, just think back over the past 12 months, every single natural disaster that's hit, even just here in the US, is staggering. No one is immune. And we've got to figure out as a people how to live through this constant bombardment of crisis and disaster. So in Unshattered, which really is a prequel to The Deep End of Hope in the Wake of Hurricane Helene, I talk about how I became resilient, my own journey of resilience. And then in The Deep End of Hope in the Wake of Hurricane Helene, I talk about how I processed my trauma and helped others to process their trauma in real time over the first 40 days following Hurricane Helene. And then a very special announcement. My publisher, Grace Point Publishing, has just acquired my third book, which is going to come out next year. And the working title of that is The Deep End, Resilient Leadership in a Volatile World, which really is a guidebook for how to recover from trauma in real time with the trauma recovery tools that I teach and some very specific exercises to help leaders in crisis recover in real time. The Unshattered book, book number 2, is going to be released on October 14th, 2025. So in just a couple, maybe 6 weeks from now, and is available on all online book retailer sites. So for example, Amazon, bookshop.org, Barnes & Noble, Indigo Books, and Chapters in Canada. So anywhere you can purchase online books, the book Unshattered is available. I would love for you to go ahead and pre-order that book, because I'm having a book launch for that book on Tuesday, October 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's a virtual book launch, so we're going to be gathering together on Zoom. You're going to hear me talk a little bit about the book, read an excerpt from the book. We're also going to have some special guests, including my publisher, Grace Point Publishing, as well as a couple of people who have helped to make this book possible. And I'm going to be doing a ton of giveaways. You all may know that I have a trauma recovery certification program. I'm going to be doing some giveaways around that, the value of which is anywhere between $500 and $20,000. And it's just for people live during that book launch. So mark your calendars for Tuesday, October 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll go for about an hour or so. I would love to have you participate in the launch of the Unshattered book and really talk about the importance of learning how to recover from trauma in real time, because none of us are immune. We've got to figure out how to do this, and I would love for you to be a part of that mission and that vision for this world. All right, watch this space for more updates about what we're doing with this trilogy of books. And I look forward to reading your reviews on online platforms like Amazon about Unshattered. And I look forward to you joining us for the Unshattered book launch on October 28th. All right.